So I've been kind of like in this little Ultimate Warrior rabbit hole the last week or so. Now, obviously, you guys know I love wrestling. Never really been a big Ultimate Warrior guy. Actually, never liked him. Certainly hated me more after the comments he made about gays and minorities, back in the mid 2000s, doing his speaking tour. But I was still fascinated to see if these documentaries will actually delve into those things, the whys. Because even though people who do bad things, you want to know what drew them to do the things they did. And obviously, Ultimate Warrior's legacy, at least, with people, the shooting reviews you see on YouTube, obviously, and people would discuss the Ultimate Warrior. He is not well liked. He's not well liked. Not many wrestlers came on this documentary to even talk about him, really, honestly, any of these documentaries. But the two documentaries had two different perspectives. I don't say different perspective, actually, but it came from two different angles. So the A&E documentary I watched first, it's a little more sanitized because it does delve into the warts and obviously the things he did with the speaking tour and all that, and him being really disliked and holding up Vince and at SummerSlam '91, all that. But they also do a good job of balancing as well to the fact that he was, even though he had a lot of issues and he was not he's an enigma and a strange guy and someone that you really just couldn't get along with, he also was a great family man. And he had his daughters, who I think now over 18, I believe now, and his wife, Dana, his second wife, should I say, which I can get to in a second, on the documentary as well, too, praising him for being a great father. And, I'm not a Warrior guy. Even after this, I still don't like the things he said, obviously, and all that. But I think I come away with a little more clarity as to why he went where he did. Like, it goes into his fact that his father left the home at a young age, and he felt like, not having that figure, obviously, it probably fucked with his head, obviously, But, yeah, they came with a more sanitized version. Although I will say they did. I guess sanitized isn't a word I should use because it was balanced. But because they go into the details of that stuff, but it also balanced it with the family stuff, and it kind of put it like a happy ending to it too, because obviously he gets inducted to Hall of Fame, by WWE in 2014. He goes on Raw, has that big speech, and then he dies the next day. So it gave him a little bit of a bold, kind of like a happy ending, if you will. The Dark Side of the Ring version of this, Becoming Warrior, a little more, people call it smut. I disagree, because some of the things that have been said, that was said on the documentary, on Dark Side of the Ring especially too, and both documentaries, honestly, are consistent with what we've heard for years from other people. The only shocking thing, really, honestly, and I don't know if I believe it, because I've heard people say that's not really true, was, okay, so I mentioned the time where Warrior held up Vince at SummerSlam '91 for a new contract. Basically, Warrior wanted everything Hulk Hogan had. He wanted the same pay, he wanted the same deals, wanted the same percentage of licensing, all that, you name it. And supposedly, there was, according to Jake Snake Roberts, he was supposed to go into feud with Warrior that year, which, a title feud. I wasn't sure if Jake was going to get the belt or not, but he was supposed to get a feud with Warrior that year. And because of Warrior getting fired after SummerSlam '91, literally the night of SummerSlam '91, because of Vince being held up, Jake was able to get the feud he wanted, to make money. Because forget the fact that you get the belt or not. If you're feuding a champion, you're making a lot of money. That's thousands of dollars. And Jake said that Warrior fucked him as a result of that, and he held that grudge up until the night of the Hall of Fame speech 2014, and Jake was saying that Jake was embellishing the fact that he was up until that night he was about to pop Warrior in the face for attack him for fucking up, and then I guess Warrior came up and approached him and apologized. Sounds a little unbelievable. It sounds a little embellished. I don't know. I want to believe him, but it sounds kind of, I don't know. It sounds kind of out there, in my opinion. But the perspective also on the Dark Side of the Ring version 2 also was from his first wife. And when I heard that, it should be on the episode, my mind was like, oh god, this might be really smut and whatnot. I'll be honest with you. she actually humanized him a lot, probably more than his current wife was widow, honestly. But the amazing thing, like I said, is his ex-wife didn't trash him really. I mean, there were moments obviously she should be honest about the relationship. You know, when they were together from 1982 to like 91 and whatnot. But she didn't trash him really. From what she was saying, that even when they broke it off and after the divorce and whatnot, they were still kind of cool at the end. So it was nice to hear that perspective, and I think actually she did a really really good job. I mean, if she's telling the truth, of course, too, because these documentaries also can be a little bit embellished. I know Dark Side of the Ring, especially too, a lot more focused on the negative and the bad parts of the business. So you want to take things with a grain of salt to some degree. But I didn't think she trashed him. I thought she did actually a decent job of keeping him, making him look human. I assumed that she was going to trash him because you hear ex-wife and you're like, oh, well, great. She's going to come in this talk shit about the guy that she divorced 30 years ago and he's a piece of shit and all that. And no, she actually didn't do that. She actually humanized him a lot. And that was kind of refreshing, to be honest with you. You know, the Jake Snake stuff, I'm not even sure if that's even true or not. I mean, but they sure as hell threw it in the documentary, made it a big angle. So, but all in all, I've kind of actually, I don't want to respect, but I enjoyed the documentaries. Obviously, I've always had I was never a Warrior guy, even before this stuff. I was never a Warrior guy. I was always a Hogan guy, you know. But at least I got, in my mind, a little bit of closure as to maybe why the Warrior went this route in the 2000s, why he had these issues, why the ego, and you know, why did he see himself as this person, and why he felt the way he felt to say the things he said, and you know, about gays and minorities and whatnot. And, you know, I personally am a forgiving person, so I like to see, okay, people can change. You know, people can change, and you know, when I forgive him, of course I forgive him. That's just who I am as a person. You know, ultimately, he has to answer to God about that. But one side note too about Ultimate Warrior also. So around this time when that thing happened, when the stuff happened with the you know, the speeches and all that he was giving, WWE and him at that point were not on speaking terms, obviously, at the time. And Vince and company had actually put out a DVD called The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, which is basically a shoot DVD. But anyone who was associated with the Warrior during this time in WWE, to just say what the fuck they wanted, to shoot on anything, and you know, Bobby Heenan and Hulk Hogan, and you name it. Everybody had a piece, Ric Flair, all that, and it was definitely a hit job, but it came off as a hit job, but yet again, some of the things they were saying were kind of actually consistent with what we've heard for years, even before that DVD came out. So, was it really a hit job? Was it really telling the truth? You know, and of course, you know, Vince and Warrior patched things up, and that DVD hasn't been in circulation since. You know, and I used to own that DVD, and then I lost it in one of my moves, probably in late 2000s. And for years I was trying to find it on the internet, and I couldn't find it on YouTube, couldn't find it anywhere. Lo and behold, in a dark corner of the internet 2 days ago, I actually found the entire episode, the entire documentary on Self-Destruction Ultimate Warrior. And I luckily was able to download it on my phone and put it up on my computer. So finally found it. So but I said, Warrior's a complicated guy. He really is. But you know,